Nice day. Today is Wednesday, 5th of March 2025. This is actually today is a 4th of Ramadan 1446 in the Islamic calendar, which corresponds to March 5 actually 2025 in the Gregorian calendar. So the explanation is that the Islamic calendar is based on the lunar cycle, so the start of Ramadan shifts each year. The exact start date depends on when the crescent moon is sighted. Now starting the newspaper analyst with the world news, including CK Houston is to settle stake in the Panama ports to BlackRock group amid Trump pressure. Very dumb thing to do, Trudeau. After United States imposed 25% tariffs, ready to work under the Trump's strong leadership, Zelensky calls Oval Office pat regrettable. Mexico will impose retaliatory tariffs on United States goods following China as trade war heats up. Indians are bad. Florida patient attacks Indian origin nurse, breaks almost every bone in her face. Determined to cooperate with the United States, Ukraine Prime Minister says can maintain a front line after the Trump halts military aid. Now, starting with the Hindu newspaper, Trump's trade war draws swift retaliation with new tariffs from Mexico, Canada, China. A paper notes listed the removal of bottles of the United States alcohol from the shelves of the Liquor Control Board of Ontario LCBO store as a part of retaliatory moves against the tariffs announced by United States President Donald Trump in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, March 4, 2025. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said the United States would likely meet Canada and Mexico in the middle, with an announcement coming as soon as Wednesday, March 5, 2025. President Donald Trump launched a trade war Tuesday, March 4, 2025, against America's three biggest trading partners, drawing immediate retaliation from Mexico, Canada, China, and sending financial markets into a tailspin as the United States faces the threat of rekindling inflation and paralyzing uncertainty for business. Just after midnight, Mr. Trump imposed a 25% tax or tariff on Mexican and Canadian imports, though he limited the levy to a 10% on Canadian energy. Mr. Trump also doubled the tariff he slapped last month on Chinese products to 20%. Beijing retaliated with the tariffs of up to 15% on a wide array of United States farm exports. It also expanded the number of United States companies subject to export controls and other restrictions by about 2 dozen. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said his country would plaster tariffs on the more than $100 billion of American goods over the course of 21 days. Central Bureau of Investigation (CBI) detects paper leak scam under East Central Railway. CBI said a case has been registered against a senior divisional electrical engineer and 8 other railway officials, along with unknown candidates. So far, 26 railway officials have been arrested and searchers were conducted at 8 locations, resulting in recovery of 1.17 crore in the cash. The Central Bureau of Investigation (CBI) has detected and busted a departmental examination paper leak scam under the East Central Railway (ECR) at Mughal Sarai in Uttar Pradesh during an operation launched on investigating night on Monday, March 3, 2025 and Tuesday, March 4, 2025. In an official statement on Tuesday, March 4, 2025, the CBI said that a case has been registered against a senior divisional electrical engineer, senior DWA operations, and 8 other railway officials, along with the unknown candidates. ECR had scheduled a departmental examination on Tuesday, March 4, 2025 for the post of Chief Local Inspector (CLI) during the checks conducted by CBI at 3 spots on the intervening night at Mughal Sarai. A total of 17 candidates were found with the photocopies of handwritten question papers. Investigation conducted so far revealed that accused senior DWA ops was given the responsibility for setting and preparing the question paper for the examination. He, in his own handwriting, had written the questions in English and allegedly gave it to the loco pilot, who translated it into Hindi and further gave it to the to an office supervisor OS. The said OS allegedly gave it to the candidates through few other railway employees, the CBI said in the statement. European Union chief unveils 800 billion euros plan to rearm Europe. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen speaks during a media conference on the defense package at European Union headquarters Brussels on March 4, 2025. European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen on Tuesday, March 4, 2025, presented a plan to mobilize some 800 billion euros. That is actually $843 billion for Europe's defense and help provide immediate military support for Ukraine after Washington suspended aid. The move came hours after United States President Donald Trump announced the aid freeze, intensifying Washington's push for a peace deal with Russia and confirming its pivot away from Kyiv and its European allies. Europe faces a clear and present danger on scale that none of the United States, that none of us has seen in our adult lifetime. The European Commission President said in a letter to European Union leaders, "We are ready to step up," she wrote in presenting the plan to be examined at a Thursday, March 7, 2025 summit on Ukraine and European defense. Now, going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper states that very big step India, Belgium aim to seal defense cooperation pact this year. Belgian Defense Minister Theo Franken and Foreign Minister Maxime Prevot were a part of the Belgian delegation led by the Princess Astrid that met the Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday. New Delhi, India and Belgium are hoping to finalize the defense agreement within the year or to bolster cooperation between their armed forces and enhance defense industrial collaboration, Belgian Defense Minister Theo Franken said on Tuesday. Such an agreement will be a big step towards the facilitating structural cooperation between the armed forces of the two countries and creating a framework for collaboration between the defense industries, Franklin told a media briefing, speaking alongside the Belgian Foreign Minister Maxime Prevot. The two ministers were a part of the Belgian delegation led by the Princess Astrid that met Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday. Franken said Modi suggested the two sides form a task force for finalizing the defense agreement as soon as possible. While nothing that he would not impose a view of India, Prevot added that any support for Ukraine will be appreciated. Franklin said any peace or deal for the Ukraine has said to be deal while the Ukrainian people are standing in front of supporting their peace deal and its conditions. And while Europe is also involved because Ukraine is an European country, India has said a solution to the Ukraine conflict can't be found on the battlefield and urged the warring parties to return to the path of dialogue and diplomacy to achieve a lasting peace. Delhi High Court stays a suspension of 7 Jamia students terms university action versus worrisome. The court sought a response from the university on the students' failure and scheduled the next hearing for April 2nd. Delhi High Court on Tuesday stated the suspension of 7 students of Jamia Millia Islamia University until April 2nd, while nothing that the manner in which the university responded to peaceful demonstration was worrisome. A bench of Justice Dinesh Kumar Sharma directed the university's vice-chancellor to form a committee comprising officials and students' representatives to address the situation. Without going into the submission of the parties, the perusal of the record itself leaves the court worried about the way in which the protest being undertaken by the students is handled by the university. The court is not going into the reason for the protest at the moment, but the documents as shown by the petitioners filled along the petition prima facie show that it was a peaceful protest. All the students are of tender age, the court said in its order. It said the court is fully confident that the administrative authorities, including its vice-chancellor, dean, chief proctor, will immediately take remedial steps to calm down the situation. A committee of officials under the supervision of the vice-chancellor will be constituted and representatives of the students may also be taken by the vice-chancellor. It is a pertinent to mention that the court has not gone into the criminal cases and this order shall not have an effect. In the meantime, the operation of the order dated 12 February 2025 will be suspended till the next date of the hearing. The protests in the question took place from February 10 to 13 when the students demonstrated against the show-cause notice issued to their peers for participating in December 2024 protesting marking the anniversary of the Citizenship Amendment Act CAA demonstration as an illegal police brutality on campus in 2019. On the other hand, the university, represented by the advocate Amit Sahani, argued that the students had not sought permission to hold the protest and that the demonstrations had no correlation with their academics. He also claimed that students damaged the university property during the protest, prompting the registration of an FIR with the Delhi police. Additionally, Sahani stated that the students had slept outside the canteen, which was impermissible. The court sought a response from the university on the students' failure and scheduled the next hearing for April 2nd. Supreme Court urged states to use to frame a policy on prices of medicines. The court was hearing on a petition filed by Starth Dalmia in 2018, who sought directives against the private hospitals illegally compelling patients to purchase medicines and medical devices from a house or designated pharmacies at inflated prices. The Supreme Court on Tuesday declined to issue mandatory directions to regulate the prices of medicines and consumables sold by private hospitals for resident patients, but urged states and union territories to consider framing appropriate policies to prevent inflated pricing and illegal exploitation. A bench of Justice Surya Kant and Kotiswar Singh noted that while affordable health care is an essential component of the right to life, under Article 21 of the Constitution regulating the pricing of medicines and other consumables in private hospitals falls within the exclusive domain of policy decisions. The court further emphasized the need to balance concerns about the patient welfare with the continued participation of private entities in the healthcare sector. It would not be advisable for the court to issue a mandatory directions that again hamper the private sector, but at the same time it is necessary to sensitize the states with respect to the problem of unreasonable charges and illegal exploitation of patients in private hospitals, stated the court. Going towards the economy of the country from the business point of view, government slaps RIL partners with the $2.8 billion demand notice in the decade-old national gas migration dispute. RIL said that it is legally advised that the Delhi High Court judgment and this provisional demand raised by the Petroleum Ministry are unsustainable, and the company is taking steps to challenge the judgment. In 2016, the government has raised a demand of $1.55 billion on RIL and its partners for the sale of the gas that illegally migrated on the Oil and Natural Gas Corporation Limited block. Sensex Nifty 50 today, Indian benchmarks dip as the world stock tremble ahead of the Trump tariffs. Stock market today, Trump believes tariffs are a powerful tool to protect the United States businesses and reduce trade imbalance. The Nifty 50 index opened at 22,011.05, marking a decline of 108.25 points, that is minus 0.49%. For CAPEX, CPSEs rely more on budgetary support, less on own resources and private capital. The investment by CPSE is financed through budgetary support provided by the central government, which is a part of the gross budgetary support. The reduction in resource mobilization by the CPSEs on their own and through the private sector is being seen as a reason of concern for the infrastructure sectors, especially the road sector. Now going to science and tech, we have Kashmir awaits a warm summer in 2025. How should its crops prepare? A view of the old Mahjoor Nagar Bridge over a dry water channel following a prolonged dry spell in Srinagar on February 19, 2025. Kashmir has had a dry winter this year, with the months of January and February recording a rainfall deficit of around 80%. From seed distribution to crop calendars, the Sher Kashmir University of Agriculture, Science and Technology schools had an action plan to tackle the dry conditions it expects in Kashmir this summer. Kashmir has had a dry winter this year with the months of January and February recording a rainfall deficit of around 80%. Even though the weather department had forecast a wet spell until February 28th, there has also been a significant shortfall of snow in Kashmir plus the attendant consequences. Crop contingency plan experts have previously warned that if the dry weather continued, it could lead to drought-like situation in the subsequent spring and summer. They have also stressed that it could severely affect the water-dependent sectors such as irrigated agriculture, paddy horticulture, hydroelectric power production, and even drinking water supply. Supreme Court directed states, union territories to provide a consolidated records of their forest land in 6 months. The center's law officer informed that the most states had also not completed the exercise of consolidation of records of their forest lands under the Rule 16(1) of the Ven Sanrakshan Evam Samvardhan Adhiniyam Rules 2023. Top court chiefs, secretaries, union territories, administrators will be held personally liable on failure to comply with its orders. The Supreme Court on Tuesday, March 4, 2025, issued a stern warning that chief secretaries of states and administrators of union territories will be held personally liable if they fail to constitute expert committees to identify forests in their respective jurisdictions in the month followed by preparation of consolidated records of these lands within the next 6 months. The order by a bench of Justice B.R. Kavai and A.G. Mashish came after the additional Solicitor General Ashwarya Bhati submitted that several states that had still not constituted expert committees in compliance with the Supreme Court judgment on December 12, 1996 and subsequent court orders. 286 lions, 456 leopards died in Gujarat in 2 years, says Forest Ministry and Assembly. Gujarat is the world's last abode of Asiatic lions. While 228 lions succumbed to natural causes and 58 fatalities were due to the unnatural causes, such as the big cats getting hit by vehicles or drowning in open wells, Forest Minister said. At least 286 lions among the 143 cubs died in Gujarat over the last 2 years, and 58 of these fatalities were due to the unnatural causes, State Forest Minister Munubhai Bera informed the Legislative Assembly on Tuesday, March 4, 2025. Responding to a query by senior Congress MLA Sahlesh Parmar during a question hour, Bera said 456 leopards, including 140 cubs, also died in 2 years, 2023 and 2024, in the state. Gujarat is the world's last abode of Asiatic lions, as per the last census conducted in June month of 2020. The state is home to 674 Asiatic lions, mainly the Kir Wildlife Sanctuary. In case of leopards, 225 died in 2023 and 231 in 2024. The minister said in a written reply in the assembly during the ongoing budget session, while 228 lions succumbed to natural causes, 58 fatalities were due to the unnatural causes, such as the pig cats getting hit by the vehicles or drowning in open wells, he said. India hit targeted maternal mortality rate of 100 deaths per lakh live births, Nadda said. Union Health Minister J.P. Nadda chairs the 9th meeting of the Mission Steering Group for the National Health Mission at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi on March 4, 2025. 83% decline in MMR achieved between 1990 to 2020, which is much higher than the decline in global MMR, says Health Minister. India has achieved the National Health Policy NHP target of a maternal mortality rate MMR of 100 deaths per 1 lakh live births. And 83% of the decline in MMR achieved between 1990 to 2020, which was much higher than the decline in global MMR, Union Health Minister J.P. Nadda said on Tuesday. Mr. Nadda was chairing the 9th meeting of the National Health Missions NHM mission steering group, the highest policy making and governance body under the NHM for the health sector. United Nations sets a date for extra session to finalize the plastic treaty. The fifth United Nations Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee (INC5) meeting intended to yield a legally binding global treaty in Busan was meant to be final one. The most divisive issue that prevented a final deal in Busan included capping plastic production, managing plastic products and chemicals of concern, and financing to help developing countries implement the treaty. The United Nations Environment Programme on Monday, March 4, 2025 said in a new round of negotiations toward the global plastic treaty will take place after August 5 and 14 in Geneva, Switzerland, after the countries failed to agree on the parameters of final agreement last December in Busan, South Korea. The fifth United Nations Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee (INC5) meeting intended to yield a legally binding global treaty in Busan was meant to be the final one, but the countries remained apart on the basic scope of the treaty and could agree only to postpone key decisions to the new session that will be dubbed INC 5.2. What is the carbon intensity? China has said it lowered its carbon intensity by 3.4% in 2024, missing its target of 3.9%. Carbon intensity is a useful way to measure how much carbon a particular sector is emitting and how it has increased or decreased over time. Usually, sectors have their own ways to measure their growth. The steel sector may focus on the number of the tons produced annually. The medical insurance sector may focus on the number of claims successfully fulfilled. And HR services may focus on how many hours of unproductive work they may have done away with. The government of country may also measure its own development by tracking sales that GDP per capita measured in United States dollars. In the world that is warming fast and desperately needs to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions, carbon intensity adjusts those existing metrics to include the amount of the carbon dioxide produced. Why is leptopyrosis claiming so many lives in Kerala? Leptopyrosis is a tropical zoonotic disease which is highly integrated with an environment in which both the humans and animals thrive. Many public health experts now wonder if the state has been a little too complacent in its over dependence on doxycycline to the exclusion of all other possible studies, including better epidemiological research and improved risk communication to people. For a disease that has displayed a consistent pattern and mortality profile over the decades, leptopyrosis has been claiming an unusually high number of lives in Kerala in recent years. In the past 2 years alone, leptopyrosis emerged as the infectious disease that killed the maximum number of people, with a proportion of mortality going up every year. This had led many public health experts to now wonder if the state has been a little too complacent in its over dependence on the broader spectrum antibiotic doxycycline as the one-shot strategy to prevent and manage leptopyrosis, with the exclusion of all other possible strategies, including better epidemiological research and improved risk communication to the people. At last, there is a famous personality of the world, that is the Prophet Hud ﷺ, sometimes called the Eber, is believed in Islam to have been a messenger sent to pre-Islamic Arabia, who is repeatedly mentioned in the Quran, whose 11th chapter is also named after him, although a small portion of it is actually about him. When Hud ﷺ started preaching and invited them to the worship of only the true Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and when he told them to repent for their past sins and ask for mercy and forgiveness, the earth people began to revile him and wickedly began to mock Allah's message. Hud as Wasalam's story epitomizes the prophetic cycle common to the early prophets mentioned in the Quran. The Prophet Wasalam is sent to his people to tell them to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only, and tells them to acknowledge that it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is the provider of their blessings. The Quran states that in Surah number 11, ayat number 50 to 57, that and to the people of the earth we send their brotherhood. He said, "O my people, worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have no God other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do nothing but fabricate lies against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." In ayat number 51, "O my people, I do not ask you for any reward for this message. My reward is only from one who created me. Will you not then understand?" In Surah ayat number 52, "And O my people, seek your Lord's forgiveness and turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala him in repentance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will shower you with the rain and abundance and add a strength to your strength. So do not turn away, persisting in wickedness." And 53, they argued, "O Hud, you have not been given us any clear proof, and we will never abandon our gods upon your word, nor will we believe in you." In ayat number 54, all we can say is that some of our gods have possessed you with evil. He said, "I call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to witness, and you to be a witness, that I totally reject whatever you associate in Surah number 11, ayat number 55, with him in worship. So let all of you plot against me without delay." In 56, "I have put my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my Lord and your Lord. There is no living creature that is not completely under his control. Surely my Lord's way is perfect justice." In 57, "But if you turn away, I have already delivered to you what I have been sent with. My Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will replace you with others. You are not harming him subhanahu wa ta'ala in the least. Indeed, my Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a vigilant keeper over all things." It was Surah Hud, Surah number 11, ayat number 50 to 57. Same according to the tafsir from Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawaziyah in his book of analysis Madarij as-Salikin, which has been quoted by Ibn Abi al-Az in his Sharia commentary of Al-Aqidah al-Tawiyah. Hud ﷺ has a miracle which is pointed by the verse of 54 to 57. In 54, it is actually ayat, not a verse. 54 ayat and 55. All we can say that is that some of our gods have smitten you with evil. He replied, "I call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to witness, and you be witness too, that I am clear of what you associate in your affairs apart from him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Contrary against me as much as you like, and give me no respite." In 56, "I place my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is my Lord and your Lord. There is no creature that moves on the earth who is not held by forelock firmly by him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Verily the way of my Lord is straight. If you turn away, then in ayat number 57, "If you turn away, then remember I have delivered to you the message I was sent with. My Lord will put other people in your place, and you will not be able to prevail against him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Indeed, my Lord keeps a watch over all things." Okay, thank you.